Hello beautiful farmers. In today's video I want to share with you guys the advantage and disadvantage of rearing birds, that's pullets, as rearing your layer chicks as pullets from day old till when they get to laying stage, compared to just buying points of lay, or let's say points of cage hens that will just start laying for you. So sharing the advantage and disadvantage, so you get to check them out, make observations and make a choice of which to follow through in running your farm. So if you're yet to subscribe to this channel, please do well to subscribe, and you that is watching already, the returning subscriber, I also encourage you to like the video so that the algorithm will get to share this video to other farmers that are interested in getting to know what we're about to talk about. So let's dive down into the essence of today's video. So I will be starting with the advantages of getting points of lay or point of cage hens for your layer farm. So the advantage here is that you don't get to stress yourself about having a different space to brood and rear them till when they get to point of cage, especially when you're using the battery cage system. So you just buy these birds and put them in your cages, and in less than a month or in a month's time start laying for you, because most point of cage or point of laid hens are being sold from 14 weeks, and in less than a month or within a month they'll start dropping eggs for you. So it's a short time period for you to just kickstart or run your layers farm. So that's one of the advantages. You don't have to stress yourself of getting a brooding space where you get to brood them. And the second thing is that time frame of brooding and rearing them till when they get to the laying stage, which is almost about 4 months plus, you don't have to stress yourself, go through that stress, because sometimes it can be stressful. So you don't pass through that stress, you just buy your best and they start dropping for you. So those are the two advantages of getting point of lay or point of cage pullets. So the disadvantage about it is that if you're not careful, you get birds that are not up to this set age where they are. I'll take one of the challenges that we have in our country, Nigeria, right now. Most people will tell you that these birds are 14 weeks, but in reality, they are 10 weeks. So that is one of the challenges of buying point of lay or point of cage chicks. So sometimes the information being given about the pullets are not usually true, and most times they are not properly vaccinated. That is point number two. They are not properly vaccinated, which might pose to be a challenge when you buy these birds and you don't follow through this specific vaccination that will make them to start laying at a certain period for you. Because if they are properly vaccinated and treated, they'll start laying for you on time. And sometimes their weight, it might take you a longer period of time for you to now start keeping them, for them to start laying for you. Because if you buy birds that are 10 weeks old, there's every tendency that you keep those birds for the next 2 months before they start laying for you, which is still a longer period compared to when you're supposed to just buy a 14 weeks or 16 weeks pullet. The third part is that sometimes the information about the breed of hen that you're buying might not meet your requirements, because there are different breeds of layers out there. So there are some layer breeds that are more better that you might prefer. Like one of the major selling breed of layers that is selling right now in the country is the Issa Brown. Issa Brown is the laying machine and can adapt to any environment very easily. So about the breed, the source of this hen might pose to be a challenge for you. Then let's go to the advantages of rearing your chicks from the day old stage till when they get to the point of lay yourself. and its own disadvantage. The advantage of rearing your birds from day old to your point of lay is that number one, it's cheaper. Then number two, you get to rear these birds yourself and you know how well they are doing. You follow through with their medications and every other routine diligently yourself, you knowing that you are the one taking care of your birds. You need them to deliver properly for you, so you definitely make sure you take care of them very well. So that's number two advantage of rearing your birds down to the laying stage. Then the disadvantage of rearing birds from day old till when they get to point of laying is that it can be stressful. Yes, it can be stressful taking care of birds for that 4 to 5 months before they start laying. That stress of passing through that routine, that time frame, and the space you require to have to brood and take care of these birds till when they get to point of lay. Point of cage. Having a different space for that. Yes, it's good for you to have those things, but then with the advantage and disadvantage of that I've mentioned, highlighted in this video, I believe you should be able to make your choice of which to follow through. It's not like one is better off than the other, but you just check out what works for you. And one of the things that I always recommend for farmers is that before you get birds that are points of lay or points of cage, you need to be very sure that you're getting your birds from a very reliable source. How reliable your source is will determine how well your birds will go well for you. So when you're not sure about your reliable source, the best thing to do is to go through that rigorous process of getting to rear the birds yourself from day old. I know, yes, it can be stressful, and a lot of people might not be able to follow through with that stress successfully, because sometimes you rear these birds from day old and they don't lay on time, or maybe one or challenge comes in while you're taking care of them. There's every tendency that that batch of birds you lost them. You have to coil them quickly. Maybe, for instance, if there's a disease that attacks them while you're rearing these birds from day old and they're not able to start dropping for you, there's every tendency that you need to coil them quickly, because I've met a farmer that stocked in birds from day old, and almost 6 months these birds were not laying. So at some point they had to, not almost 6 months plus, they were not dropping. So at the point they had to coil the whole birds, which was a loss for her. So that's why it's very important for you to make your due diligence check before you start out, because you don't want to invest money in a system that will not benefit you. And I've also met a farmer that bought points of cage, hens, pullets, and they didn't do well for him at all, because the birds were birds that he got birds that were already sorted out before, after. As people have already sorted out the better ones, and he was left with a leftover of smaller hens, and he didn't follow up the vaccination, because hoping that the farm where he bought them from already did their own vaccination. So some of these setbacks are usually challenges that farmers do pass through. So from this point I've pointed out in this video, you should just do your own due diligence check and know which will be better for you to run your own farm. So it's not like one is better than the other. You just make your own checks and go with what works for you to achieve better results. So I hope you like this video, you enjoyed the information I've passed through here. So try as much as possible to follow through with the information I've passed through in my videos, and I also encourage you to watch my other videos to get to learn more better ways of getting to run your own farm to achieve a better result. So thanks for watching this far, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye bye.